So quickly focusing on the pyramids a bit right now to think about ancient Egyptian culture and connection to geography. Um, Pyramids were built obviously out of giant blocks of stone that were quarried out of the Egyptian hillside, and the ready supply of stone made possible these enormous monuments that we see over here, and we'll see a little bit better when we scroll down. So there's a connection between the geography of the place and the evolution of its civilization. Does this mean that the pharaohs would not have been honored in death without the stone? No, of course, they certainly would have been honored. But these buildings on this grand scale, this immense and permanent scale, the pyramids still stand in Egypt, made possible by the geography of the place. We also see that the Nile was the reason that the blocks of granite blocks of stone, were able to get where they ended up going because they were able to be floated. It would likely be an impossible task to drag these overland. But once they're put on a boat, they can easily be floated on the River Nile to their final location. So again, the Nile, again, being a source in many ways for Egyptians and source for their religion, but also a source just simply as a route for transportation. When we look at the pyramids a little more closely, and forgive me that this can't be fit all together, we see on one screen, we see massive intricacies to the burial chamber, lots of false passageways and lots of hidden routes and things like that to try to foil grave robbers. And the reason there would be grave robbers at all is because the pharaohs would be buried with tremendous amounts of treasure, and they would be buried with tremendous amounts of treasure so that they had everything they needed for the afterlife. The Egyptian view of the afterlife was that one would pass into the afterlife nearly intact. In other words, the Egyptian afterlife was a different place than this world. The dead did not mingle with the living, but there wasn't the sense of that there was like an essence or a soul, but rather the whole person would pass into the afterworld, the afterlife, and therefore would need their materials with them when they got to the afterlife. And so Egyptian pharaohs were going to need the kinds of things that Egyptian pharaohs need in life, namely immense amounts of treasure. So again, a little bit of focus on the geography of the place. The pyramids were in the west, which is where the dying sun goes, right? So the idea that the direction of death in the afterlife is in the west is connected with their geography, the fact that the sun sets there, and the stone itself, the fact that the River Nile was used to transport the stone. All of these things are geographic connections with the idea of the pyramids.